Heavy rain on the way for northern Australia, but before we get to that, let's take a look at what we've seen already this week. Now, for the tropics and the Kimberley region, we haven't seen that much rainfall. This is Broome yesterday. You did get a storm there, but Broome, you're only at about a third of what you'd usually be getting by this time in the wet season. Compared to what happened this time last year, we actually had flooding rain over the Kimberley region with a series of stagnant tropical lows that actually caused pretty much an entire annual average falling for you in Broome in the space of just a few short days. Over the last few days, we've also seen some heavy rain over the tropics for the top end, but it hasn't really been enough to really get that wet season going. Where has seen a good wet season is parts of northern tropical Queensland. That's where we've seen about 1.5 times what we usually see by this point in the wet season, and it looks to continue. Otherwise, a bone dry week for most of Australia. Unfortunately, not too much rain to come for you, southern Australia. Some showers and storms this afternoon across the ranges of New South Wales, but that's fairly normal for this time of year and no widespread rain. However, on Wednesday, we could see some good rainfall in the southwest. That's with a low pressure system, potentially the best rain we've seen in months there. And as all that's happening, by Tuesday, we could even see the monsoon trough moving over parts of northern Australia. And with it, we could see a pair of tropical lows spawn. Now, there's always a lot of uncertainty with that, but let's take a look what this weather model's thinking. Maybe one of those lows moving over the Queensland tropics, maybe another one moving over the Kimberley or Pilbara region. And if that happens at the right time, we could link up with this front and bring some nice rain to the southeast. So a lot of variables this week, but the good news is it does look like we're going to see a bit more tropical activity for the Kimberley region and the top end. Let's take a look at the forecast right now. The showers and storms today in northeast New South Wales, for instance, New England Tablelands, New Tamworth, could drop as much as 15 to 20 millimeters. They look slow moving, and they do look like they could be severe, but it'll be fairly isolated. Not everyone's going to get those storms. Meanwhile, for the northern tropics, continuing to see isolated heavy totals in showers and storms. Monsoon trough not active as yet, but becoming more active throughout this week. Storm activity looks a bit more widespread on Monday, so better chances of storms there. Again, slow moving, hail, potentially heavy rainfall, 15 to 25 millimeters there. The northern tropics, isolated totals in excess of 50 millimeters are possible. And then maybe some lows forming on Tuesday. This is where it could get interesting, drawing the monsoon trough over potentially the top end, bringing with it a relief in temperatures and also some good and widespread rainfall. Because as I said before, the top end, the Kimberley, haven't really seen that monsoon trough at all this season as yet. As we get into Thursday onwards, there's a lot more uncertainty, but you can see weather models consistently picking widespread rain over the tropics there, and it's because we have tropical lows. We're not sure which direction they're going to be moving in, but the average of these models is indicating widespread rain there. And so that's why we also have the potential for 150 millimeters spread from the northern Kimberley right up into parts of the Arnhem Land region and the far north Queensland's Cape York Peninsula. And in parts of Western Australia's interior, we could see some good rain, and the southwest on Wednesday could even see the best rain in months. A lot of fire danger around this week. Today, it's all concentrated in Western Australia, of course, but because of a persistent heat wave, well, it's just going to get worse in parts of the south and southeast later. Now, Tasmania, you've been fighting several wildfires recently. There's a lot of smoke around. You need to keep up to date with what's happening near you. It is actually fairly dry across most of Tasmania, even though this vegetation that shows the green is always green there, but compared to average, it's actually fairly dry in Tasmania. The rest of Australia, of course, affected by drought, particularly in the east, and the southwest, very, very dry. Last few months, we've basically recorded below average rainfall for the last 3 months or so. So today is a day you got to pay attention to bushfire danger because we have this heat trough moving down the west coast, right? So that'll force some very hot air, 40-degree temperatures, single-digit humidities, and wind gusts potentially as high as 40 to 70 kilometers an hour, 70 kilometers an hour probably on the hills. That's bringing severe to extreme fire danger in Western Australia today. So with severe fire danger, that means when fires start, they can become unpredictable and quick-moving. But if extreme fire danger, such as the Gascoyne Coast, that means they can be unpredictable, uncontrollable, and fast-moving there. So that includes places like the Perth and Perth Hills region, where there's also a number of total fire bans in effect today. So just be a heads up for that. This is pretty a good day to pay attention to bushfires near you. All right, as we move further ahead, we have a bit of a southwesterly coming through the southwest that'll drop temperatures in those populated areas down to the low 30s, high 20s. But the fire danger still remains because it's still gusty. The inland area is now plagued by severe fire danger, so several days of that fire danger to come. Meanwhile, Tasmania seeing raised fire danger as well, very high fire danger as you still fight those bushfires. Into Tuesday, that's when we see southwesterlies continue to develop across Western Australia. Remaining hot inland, though, that's where that fire danger is going to be, the Goldfields, the Eucla region, for instance. And as we get further ahead this week, this is where we start to see the fire danger worsen, particularly from about Wednesday onwards. We're going to see widespread 40-degree heat. This is this red shading. Much of Victoria, New South Wales, South Australia plagued by 45-degree heat, and a large part of Western Australia. That's going to cause that fire danger to rise dramatically. Right now on Wednesday, only forecast severe, but we could easily see extreme fire danger on Wednesday for Western Australia, and then that'll shift towards the south and the southeast over the course of Wednesday and Thursday, with severe to extreme fire danger possible there too. A major winter storm system is rolling over northern parts of the United States and is now moving towards the northeast. With up to 18 inches of snow, there's expected to be widespread travel delays and power outages.
A second major winter storm in as many weeks. The Midwest will likely see the heaviest snowfall on Saturday.
I got my snowblower gassed up and I got some salt ready to go.
Storm warnings are in effect from the Dakotas across the Great Lakes. Some states got a preview on Friday, like Nebraska, where an airplane slid off an ice-covered runway. That wicked weather will march on toward the Atlantic.
This storm has the potential to deliver every winter weather option that Mother Nature has.
Parts of the Northeast could see more than a foot of snow this weekend. The worst of the storm is expected Saturday night into Sunday, prompting areas like New Jersey and Pennsylvania to declare a state of emergency. Several governors are imposing commercial travel restrictions on some major highways because those roads are expected to get very slick and icy.
The bigger culprit for this storm, we believe, will be the potential for ice and freezing rain and the expected severe drop in temperatures on the back end.
Temperatures are forecasted to plunge into the teens Sunday night through Monday. Conditions will get so cold, just being outside could pose a hazard.
If there is ever a weekend to stay in and binge watch something, this may be it.
At the airports, hundreds of flights have already been grounded, and travelers are concerned about even more cancellations.
I'm a little worried. I'm going to get stuck in an airport for a long time.